The topic is animation. Here, topic outline. What is animation? The animation is a process of creating the illusion of motion by displaying a series of images or frames in rapid succession. Here are key concepts and elements involved in animations. There will be what is there will be many types of animations which we can able to observe in reality. As we can say, virtual reality. What is virtual reality? Virtual reality is a technology that creates immersive computer generated environments that users can interact with us if they're real. It involves the use of VR headsets and other sensory devices to simulate a physical presence of in a virtual world. Here's a detailed overview of virtual. As you can say, core components of virtuality reality. VR headsets, devices that cover the eyes and display a stereoscopic image to create a 3D effect. For example, that includes Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR and MetaQuest. That headsets often include sensors for head tracking to ensure the view adjusts you move. There will be controllers and input devices that headline controllers, gloves, or other devices that track hand movement and gestures that allow users to interact with virtual environment. Examples these include Oculus touch controllers, Vive controllers, and hand tracking controllers. Graphic design elements. Here, graphic design elements means are the fundamental building blocks used to create and organize visual content. There will be key elements like as you can see here, graphic design elements are the building blocks of graphics. The line, color, shape, texture, and there will be space, form, typography. For the line, use it to define shapes, create textures, or guide the eye. The shape determine geometric or organic forms, use it to create visual and structure. And color adds emotion, depth, and emphasize to design. And texture. Texture gives a tactile quality to visuals, making them feel more tangible. In space, there will be more thing I want to discuss about that. Space. Space, the area around between elements include positive field and negative empty space. There will be form. Add dimensions and depth to flat images. Typography, it's nothing. The style and the arrangement of texture, crucial for readability and mood. The value, the lightness or darkness of a color, affecting contrast and mood. And in graphic design, as we can see in next slide, lines. Lines can be straight or curved. How are lines used in the composition on this slide? As you can see, how beautiful the lines is looking towards us and attracting to our eyes. In this way, the lines are useful. Color definitions. See, 1 minute. I want to discuss more about lines. Here, in graphic designs, lines are versatile elements that serve multiple functions that defining shapes and forms. Like lines outline shapes and create boundaries, giving structure to design elements and guiding the eye. As you can say, they can direct viewers' attention and lead them through the design in a deliberate path. Creating textures and patterns, repeated lines can be textures or patterns adding visual interest. that indicating or movement or direction. These lines can suggest movement or direct focus towards key areas. There will be dividing space. They help organize content by separating sections or creating grids. All these will be provided. And conveying emotions and moods. Different line styles will be there here. Straight, curved, wavy, jagged can evoke various feelings or associations by visual aid. That adds emphasis. Bold or thick lines can highlight more important elements, while thinner lines are recede into background. Lines can vary in width, style, and direction, and they can significantly influence the overall aesthetic and functionality of the design. Let's move to the next slide. Color. Color definitions. Here in graphic design, color play a crucial role in setting the tone, conveying messages, and influencing emotions. Here are key color definitions. Step 2 is another word of color. Here, the pure color itself, such as red, blue, or green, is the attribute that distinguishes one color from another. Chroma. Chroma is the intensity or purity of color. As tint. Tint is a color mixed with white. Tone. Tone is a color mixed with gray. Shade. Shade is a color mixed with black. There are some more colors I want to discuss about it. Saturation. That the intensity or purity of a color. High saturation means the color is vivid and strong, while low saturation makes it mute or washed out. Value brightness. The lightness or darkness of a color adjusting value creates tints, adding white or shades, adding black of the hue. Temperature. Colors are often described as warm, cool, that red, oranges, yellows are warm, and cool like blue, green, purples, affecting the mood and perceived spatial depth of the design. Complementary colors. That colors opposite each other on the color wheel, they create high contrast and can make each other stand. And there will be analog colors also. That colors next to each other on the color wheel, they usually harmonize well and are pleasing to eye. Monochromatic colors. That variations of the single hue differing only in saturation and value. They create a cohesive and unified look. And RGB. That the color module used for digital screens combining red, green, and blue light in various ways to produce other colors. And understanding these definitions helps designers choose and combine colors effectively to create visual appealing and affecting designs. Creative process. See, the graphic design is one of the creative things we are usually doing in these days. Let's move to the next slide. Before starting this slide, I want to say about the graphic design. Be careful. Listen to me. Here, graphic design is the art and practice of creating visual content to communicate messages. It involves combining elements such as typography, imagery, color, and layout to produce various types of designs, including branding, that creating logos and brand identities, and print design, that designing material like posters, brochures, and book covers, etc. There will be digital design, that which creating graphics for websites, social media, and apps, and advertising, developing visual for advertisement in different media and packaging. There will be the designing that look of product packaging. These graphic designers use software tools like Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign to bring their ideas to life, aiming to make information visually appealing and easily discoverable. And these graphic design elements are fundamental building blocks to create and organize visual content. Here, let's come to this slide. Graphic design, the process and art of combining text and images to communicate an effective message in the design of logos, graphics, brochures, newsletters, posters, signs, and any other type of visual communications. Here, see there is a pie chart. We can see that visual image that which has the three parts like layout, text, images. The first thing is product and we should target the audience. What we design, it should attract the audience. That's the graphic design. That which make attract the audience towards us. Let's move to the next slide. Visual communication. Here, there is visual communication. As we see, there are four pictures, right? Website, ad, logo, magazine. All these pictures are represents visually. As we can see, the how it was designed, the graphics. These are the great graphics that which attract the people. As visual graphics encompass a wide range of visual elements and media used to convey information, tell stories, or create aesthetic experiences in graphic design. They include illustrations, hand drawn or digitally created images that enhance storytelling or add visual interest. There will be photographs that real world images used to provide content, illustrate concepts, or evoke emotions. And icons that with simplified images represents objects, actions, or ideas, often used for quick recognition and navigation. The charts and graphs, visual representation of data used to make complex information easily. In infographics, combining text, images, and data to explain complex concepts in a visual format. There will be logos, unique symbols or designs that which represents brands or organizations, encapsulating their identity and values. There will be diagrams that simplified, like drawing that show relationship processes or structures in a clear and concise way. And also there will be some patterns, repeated designs or motifs that add texture, rhythm, or background interest to a composition. And the animations, moving visuals that bring static design to life, enhancing engagement and storytelling in digital media. Finally, there will be a 3D graphics, three-dimensional images or models, providing depth and realism used in various applications from gaming to product visualization. These visual graphics are integral to effect communication and can be tailored to suit different purposes from branding and marketing to education and entertainment. Okay, let's move to the next slide. These sensors and tracking system, external or built-in sensors that track the position and movement of the headset and controllers, that ensure that movement in the real world are accurately reflected in virtual world. That examples include base stations for HTC Vive or inside-out tracking used by Oculus Quest. that which computing power high performance computers or standalone units with the VR headset. There will be the necessary to render detailed visual environment and process interaction in real time. Mm. And also in virtual reality, there are so many types that non-immersive VR, also known as desktop VR, that provides a virtual environment accessed through a computer screen. For example, it includes VR experiences on regular monitors or through mobile VR apps. And second one is semi-immersive VR that involves large high-resolution displays or projection system that partially immerse the user, often used in flight simulator or training system. The third one is fully immersive VR that provides the most complete and realistic experience, uses headset and motion tracking to fully immerse the user in the virtual environment. For example, it includes most modern VR gaming and simulating systems. That applications will be virtual reality, gaming and entertainment, VR creation, immersive gaming experiences, where players feel as if they are inside the game world. That used in virtual tours, movies, and interactive storytelling. In educational and training, allows for realistic simulate for training in fields like medicine, aviation, and military, enhances learning experiences through interactive and engaging educational content. These healthcare and therapy used in medical training, pain management, and psychological therapies, such as exposure therapy, that helps patients with rehabilitation exercises in a controlled virtual environment, that enables virtual walkthroughs of building and properties, assist architects and clients in visual design before construction. And these social interaction platforms like VR Chat and ArtSpace VR provide virtual spaces for socializing and meeting new people. It facilitates virtual meeting and conferences. Here, business and industry for used virtual prototyping, product design, and remote collaboration. All the provides virtual environments for training employees and simulating workplace scenarios. These key concepts in VR technology field of view that the extent of the observable world seen at any given moment through the VR headset. A wider FOV enhanced immersion, frame rate and latency, high frame rates, the typically 90 FPS or higher, are essential for smooth VR experiences. Low latency is crucial to ensure real-time response to user movements. These reducing motion sickness. That stereoscopic vision uses two slightly different images for each eye to create a 3D effect that mimics the way human eyes perceive deep and distance. Ensures the head and body movements are accurately translated into the virtual world, that virtual reality, which shows. The future of VR holds exciting possibilities for creating more realistic and interactive virtual worlds to transforming how we work, learn, and connect with each other. As technology advances, VR will continue to evolve and expand its impact across various aspects of life. And also it has, we can see internet, internet consideration. This internet consideration is nothing but when discussing the internet and its consideration, it's essential to address various aspects that influence its use, accessibility, security, and impact on society. Here's a comprehensive overview. that broadband availability, high speed internet access is critical for many activities, but disparities exist between urban and rural areas and among different socio-economic groups. That affordability, the cost of internet services can be prohibitive for lower income families and limiting their access to online resources. The safeguarding personal and sensitive information online is a major concern. These regulations like GDPR, for it, GDPR is nothing but General Data Protection Regulation, aim to protect the user data. All these things are animation parts. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Animation. Yeah. Animation is the use of prompt generated images to convey emotion. The perception of motion in an animation is an illusion. That here animation is a series of images viewed sequentially, one after the other. Each image depicts a position and when viewed in succession illustrates motion. There will be traditional animation, also known as hand-drawn or 2D animation, that each frame is drawn by hand, often involves drawing or transparent shades, which are then photographed in sequence. These digital 2D animation created using software to simulate the traditional hand draw technique that involves creating vectors-based graphics or images in layers, allowing for easier manipulation. This 3D animation uses computer-generated imagery to create three-dimensional characters and environments. All involves modeling, rigging, and rendering to produce lifelike movement and effects. Stop motion animation. There will be physical objects are moved in small increments between individually photographed frames. The common techniques include claymation, puppet animation, and object animation. Here, motion graphics will be there as focuses on graphic design and animation to create dynamic visuals, often used for logos, title sequences, and informational videos. These fundamental principles of animations, swash and stretch, that gives a sense of weight and flexibility to objects. Anticipation, that which prepares the audience for an action that's about to happen. The staging is a clear presentation of an idea or action that involves positioning characters and objects to draw the viewer attention to the key elements. The straight ahead and force to force, drawing frame by frame from start to finish. Just pose to pose, the creating key poses first and then filling in the in between frames. The follow through and overlapping action, that different parts of a character or object continue to move after the main action has stopped. This adds realism to the motion. Slow in and slow out. Action starts and ends more slowly than the middle part of the action. That which arcs most movements followed. A curved path for arc rather than a straight line makes animations more fluid and natural. This secondary action adds additional movements to support the main action, making it more interesting and complex. The timing refers to the number of frames used for a given action, and this affects the speed and realism of the animation. That emphasizes action to make them more dynamic or to convey emotion more clearly. These understanding the fundamentals of drawing, including form, weight, and anatomy, all these are essential for creating believable characters and objects. As we should appeal, making characters and objects interesting and engaging to the audience. That includes elements of design, charisma, and personality. This animation workflow, storyboarding, there is a creating a visual outline of the animation that includes sketches of key scenes and actions, character designs, developing the look and feel of the characters. That includes designing the appearance, movements, and personalities. The creating a skeleton or structure for 3D models that allows animators to manipulate and pose characters. These bring characters and objects to life, involves creating keyframes and in between to develop smooth motion. The adding textures, colors, and lighting to the characters and environment enhances the visual appeal and realism. These finalizing the frame of the animation can be time consuming, especially for high quality 3D animation. The compositing and editing, combining all elements into the final animation, may include adding effects, sound, and final adjustment. All these include sketches of key scenes and actions that developing the look and feel of the character, that which understand the fundamentals of drawing, that essential for creating believe characters, add realism to the motion, that which has the character drawing frame by frame from first start, essential for simulating realistic moments. All these are comes under animations. Visual elements. What is visual elements? Visual elements in graphic design are fundamental components used to create compositions and convey message effectively. Here are the key visual elements like line. That line defines shapes, creates textures, guides the eye, and adds emphasis. The shape, geometric, organic, and abstract forms that defines objects and add structure to designs. Color, hue, stationary, value combined to evoke emotions, create contrast, and establish visual hierarchy. The texture, the tactile quality of surface, appearance of elements adding depth and visual interest, and there will be space that which has positive field and the negative empty areas that organize elements and establish relationship within a composition. From three-dimensional shapes that add volume and realism to design, contrasting with flat shapes. And typography, the style, size, and arrangement of text that enhances readability, sets mood, and reinforces brand identity. The value that lightness or darkness of colors, and grayscale tones, influencing contrast, depth, and mood. These elements are used in combination of create harmonious and visual engaging design across various media from print materials and digital platforms to environmental graphics and multimedia presentations. Here, as we can see, visual message, it's a layout pie chart that describes visual message, text, images, layout. All these are comes under graphic design. Here, there is a typographic step-by-step process. Typography create emotions, desire feeling. As we can see, typography is the art and technique of arranging type to make written language readable and visually appealing. It involves selecting typefaces that adjusting their size, spacing, line length, and alignment to achieve optimal readability and artistic harmony in a design. Here are key aspects of typography. That font refers to style of characters such as serif or scan serif without lines or strokes. Each typeface has its own personality and is chosen based on their intended message and audience. The font style includes variants like bold, italic, and regular within a typeface family, offering flexibility and emphasis in typography. Hierarchy that establishes a visual structure that guides readers through content, emphasizing headlines, subheadlines, and body text in a clear order of importance. The alignment determines how text is positioned related to a design, margins, or grid, such as left aligned, centered, right aligned, or justified on both left and right. Here, tracking, kerning, leading that adjusts the overall spacing between characters uniformly, that fine tunes the spacing between specific pairs of characters for better readability and statistics. Hierarchy and emphasis uses different typefaces sizes, weights, and colors to create contrast and guide readers' attention to key messages and information. The legibility and readability has ensured text is easy to read considering factors like type size, line length, contrast with background, and the complexity of typeface. Typography in branding plays a crucial role in defining a brand's identity and personality through consistent use across marketing material, websites, and products. Typography is a powerful tool in graphic design that influences how information is communicated and perceived, and it requires a balance of artistic creativity and functionality, clarity to achieve effective visual communication. Here is their create emotions, as you can see. In graphic design, creating emotions involves leveraging visual events strategically to evoke specific feelings or responses from the audience. Here is some way different visual elements can be used to evoke emotions like colors, passion, excitement, urgency, and happiness, optimism. On. These tradition, authority, reliability, modernity, simplicity, clarity, everything will impacts on creating emotions.